Dre, my man, listen,
Hey,
listen. This is the real deal here, man.
that's it.
Thank you so much, man, for coming to keeping it real for Christ, and thank you for sticking to your word as well, because you said in 2 weeks I'm gonna be ready, and then literally you said give me a couple of weeks or something, and here you are, bro. You kept to your word. Um, yeah, I'm so blessed and thankful that you did that, bro. So anyway, you're Andre, but I don't want to take much of your time. Like I said, welcome to keeping it real for Christ. What I want you to do is just to introduce yourself, who you are, and so the viewers can know who you are, basically. Go for it.
Okay, cool. So my name's Andre Myers, and I'm 33 years old. I am a Christian. I recently just moved to what's it, Grays, in Essex, and before I was in Northwest London, but now in Grays. I'm a lorry driver. I'm a husband, father of two beautiful children. Um, my beautiful wife, amazing wife. You got to lift her up.
Shout
And
out to Kim.
yeah, it's my wife Kimberly. She's downstairs looking after the kids right now. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics of me. Oh, and I'm a youth leader
Uh-huh.
in my new church that I'm in now. So yeah,
Brilliant. Thanks for that intro, bro.
no
Okay,
problem.
cool. So where do we start? So what we'll start with, Jade, is it's just like tell us about more like as in your background, how you where you grew up, where you were born, and just tell us the story of just like as in Dre as a I don't know from when you're born to teenage years, basically.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I was born in Jamaica, Montego Bay.
All right.
And yeah, so I lived
You
in
see, I didn't know
Jamaica.
that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know I don't sound it, the accent
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
since I came. So I came to England so I was born 1991,
Uh-huh.
came to England in 2001.
Hmm.
And but in between that time, so I lived in Montego Bay, grew up there, going to school, and just living life in
Hmm.
Jamaica, basically. And then came here in 2001.
Okay. So
Um,
how old, so you went to school till you were how old, sorry, in Jamaica?
9 years old.
Ah, okay. So you proper
Yeah,
went to school for about what, 3 years or something, or 3 or 4 years?
yeah,
How was
around.
that? Tell us more about that. How was that then in
It
Jamaica?
was it was very interesting in the sense of I wasn't the most academic in my family.
Uh-huh.
So let's just say I'm just like we say, we're keeping it real. I got the beats back in school. If I didn't do my homework, how they did it in Jamaica is it's not necessarily you didn't do the work. It's if you pass the mark.
Right.
So if the pass mark is 7 out of 10,
Hmm.
if you didn't make it,
You're getting the
just
beat.
being real, get the beats. Yeah. So yeah, school was fun back in Jamaica.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of crying, but also a lot of fun. One of my favorite parts of school back there is, how like in the UK, the school lunch is, it's not bad, but you got your little pizzas here and there and
Uh-huh.
little stuff like that. Your pasta. Back in my days, we had pasta king, or we had like a cheese sandwich or ham and cheese.
Hmm.
In Jamaica, we had for lunch full-fledged like rice, peas, chicken, curry goat, plantain,
Yeah.
um, escovitch, like
Oh,
you
wow.
name it. Yeah, you name it. And it was because it was a private school as well. I think that's another
Okay.
reason why. Yeah, I went to private school.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
tell us more about
the
that. How come you ended up at private school? What was your background? What's your family like? And
Oh
where
yeah, so my mom and dad they owned their own business.
in Jamaica, of
They had
course.
like in Jamaica, yeah. So
Hmm.
they had a warehouse and they sold like anything that you find in a house, whether it's like a toilet, um, shelves, what's it, pipes, anything that fits into a house,
Hmm.
you name it, they sold it in their hardware store. So then they were able to have enough money to send us to go private school. So the private schools was like primary primary private school.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it was really good. It was really good. The head teacher was quite scary. She was like, yeah. If
Different,
you
just
weren't
different.
different. If you weren't on point, she was shouting you down or you're getting beats. But when she was
Wow.
nice, she was nice. But my own experience, man, you did not want to mess around with her.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how I got to private school because my parents were able to afford it.
Oh,
Um, yeah.
right. So how many do you have any siblings or?
Yes, I have. Okay, so we've got in my immediate family, as in between my mom and dad.
Uh-huh.
Um, there's four of us. So my eldest, who still lives in Jamaica,
Okay.
um, and what's it? The other two, the second eldest lives here, and the third here, and then me, the youngest. I've got like I don't like using the term half brother. That's just how I see
Hmm.
family. It doesn't matter if same dad, different mom,
Yeah.
you're from my blood. So,
Hmm.
but I've got a brother and two sisters. Um, outside, one lives here. My sister lives in America, and another sister is in between Jamaica and America.
Uh-huh. So that
Yeah,
so that was wow. So you're in private school and you're doing your thing and you have a proper accent, yeah.
yeah. To be honest, I had an accent. You could tell I was Jamaican, but because we went to private school,
Inter
we had to speak proper English. So
right.
so you couldn't come with the whole slang. Like if you came into school, you go, "What man? Yeah, man, da 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 da," and all that stuff. Like everything I already know. If you got caught speaking
You're getting beats.
proper or yeah, you broken English, you would get beats.
Wow.
So from young, we were taught to speak like Queen's English, basically. Just we just had a Jamaican accent
Hmm.
with proper English.
Proper English,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I transitioned to England, it didn't take long for the accent to
To
go.
just yeah, to go, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what? So you went Jamaica in school till 9 years old, you said, yeah?
Yeah, till 9 years old.
So,
Yeah.
so how you end up in England?
That's a really if we go actually yeah, we'll do a part two. But sorry. So that's very, very, very a crazy story.
Ah,
So basically my mom and dad, I know my mom doesn't mind me speaking about it now. But it's quite a touchy story. So my mom and dad wanted to make some extra money and they did this thing which I'm sure a lot of older people are familiar with called partner plan, where and they did there's different names for it in different cultures.
hmm.
But from what I know in Jamaica, it was called the partner plan, where people came together and put money in. So people who can get loans from the banks, so usually like Caribbean, African people,
Hmm.
Irish people did it as well, not so much English people. Or if it was English, it was like the lower class that didn't really earn that much. So partner plan is everyone puts in, let's say, £100.
Hmm.
This month it will be all the money goes to me, and then the next month it will be a
You
next
go to
person.
another person, right? Got
And
you.
it rolls on basically. So it was to help people to get like
To invest to
whatever
this,
they needed. Yeah.
yeah.
So they started that, but they upscaled it because usually it's in a small group.
Uh-huh.
They made it where they were like the owners, and loads of people came to them. And without getting into all the nitty gritty, because even till today I still don't know a lot of information. But basically, money went missing. From what my mom told me, um, she told my dad, buy a computer. This is when computers were starting to become more, regular amongst citizens and not just like scientists or whatever, industries,
Mm.
where you could actually have a home computer. And basically, they, from what I was told, and I was only 9 years old, money went missing. And basically, the whole thing blew up. So I'll go back to what led up to me coming to England. So this event is what took me to England. So I was in school, middle of the day.
Hmm.
The head teacher calls my name, and I'm like, "Oh my days, what did I do now?
Wow.
I didn't do anything today. I'm thinking I'm gonna get beat." Andre, Chris, come up to the office now. No, no, yeah.
Wow.
And then I see my mom's best friend,
Uh-huh.
and I see them talking, and they were like, "Yeah, you have to go now." I'm like, go now, go where? They're like, you have to leave the school and go home.
Uh,
So I was like, oh, cool. I get to leave school. Just
yeah.
like, And then I could see back then you were allowed to speak on the phone while driving. So the whole time we're driving,
Mm,
and we were just driving around for a bit, not going anywhere in particular. So I
hmm
was like, this is very weird. Why are we getting taken out of school? Me and my third eldest brother. And I was like, sorry, third youngest. So I was like, why are we going around? Then we
mm,
get taken to Burger King. So in my mind, there was like a double thing going on because you know you're a kid. Like from when I was young, I was able to see situation and understand what's going on. But then the immaturity is like, it is well, whatever, man. I'm just enjoying, you know.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
So yeah, so my mom's best friend took us to Burger King and I'm there enjoying my Burger King and all that stuff. Then she starts to drive towards our area. So when we get to our area, she starts to drive slowly. I hear like a mob of people just shouting, cussing, and everything. What's going on? As soon and where we lived was like in a cul-de-sac to get to where our house is in
hmm
Montego Bay. So we're driving, 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 and then next minute you see a whole bunch of people with bricks, machetes, poles, you name it, and they're all shouting. And there's police, a whole barricade of police blocking them from getting to my house. And I was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" So she drove. Her house was at the top of the cul-de-sac. She drove. We went into her house. The police somehow escorted my parents from the house, and to escape the people, we got taken to a police station. We were there for about 4 or 5 hours, just sitting in a police station. Then from there, the police escorted us to a hotel.
Wow.
And was we stayed there for about I could be wrong, but from memory, it was probably about like 3 days. And from that hotel, we got escorted to another hotel in Kingston. So the hotel that we first stayed at was like halfway between Kingston and Montego Bay. I'm not exactly sure because I'm only 9 years old.
hmm
Um, yeah, so we get taken to that hotel, or get taken to the hotel in Kingston. We literally went there to sleep for just a couple hours, wake
Wow.
up around maybe like 5 o'clock in the morning to get an early flight straight to England. My aunt didn't even know we were coming. Basically, our lives were in danger, and I'm sure a lot of you would understand, especially in countries like that. Not that it doesn't happen in like first world countries,
Mm.
but in countries where things aren't so great financially, no one bats an eyelid to take your life for even like a couple dollars,
So
you
let's
know.
rewind. Hold up, hold up. So these people were outside your house and basically they came with machetes to obviously try and end your life.
Yes. Yeah, because money, from what I understand, money went missing. I don't know the dynamics of it. Money went missing, and the people was like, "Where's my money? If I don't get my money, it's your life."
Whole
Simple.
family
That's how
gone.
whole family. Yeah. Even when I saw my brother later, he told me because my other brother, not the second eldest,
Mm,
he was in high school in Jamaica at the time, about to finish high school, and he was on the road. And because in Jamaica or the Caribbean,
hmm
a lot of everyone kind of knows each other. So someone in the business could know pretty much all the politicians because it's not a big
mm.
island. Everyone's trying to work together in some way. So yeah, pretty much anyone in some kind of good business, they will know all the leaders and all the generals, and you know how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So um, they knew our family. A lot of my dad was very close with a lot of the police and politicians and like businessmen. They were
Wow.
close with them. So my brother was on the road during lunchtime at school because they were allowed to go out to quickly go shop and come back in
Uh-huh.
college. We call it college, but it's high school. And he said that a police van literally just rolled up, screeched right by him, and they ran at him, grabbed him, threw him in the police car, and he did not know what was going on at all. So he was like, he thought that they were like coming to kill him or something. Like he was like, "What did I do? I didn't steal anything," or you know. Um, yeah, so they just they recognized my brother when they were looking around for him. Um, yeah,
Wow. So
yeah,
as oh my so as a 9 year old, do you recall how you were feeling then?
yeah. I was very nervous because, especially when we were driving. After I figured out that, you know, people are like pretty much after my parents, and they feel no way to get anyone that they know that's close to you.
Mm,
Um, I got scared, but because we were with the police, I felt a little bit safe because we had armed police, hasn't it? Like fully armed police with like um M4s or whatever you want to call them, like literally escorting us to make sure that we were safe. Whenever there was seemed like there was cars following us because we you don't know who is who, they would pull over somewhere and see what the car was doing. If the car like did a U-turn, just to make sure, if anything, that they'll just return fire or whatever was
wow.
to happen. Yeah. So a couple of times we had to pull over when we were being escorted just to make sure that we were okay. From my memory, maybe not everything was exactly that, but that's what I remember as a kid.
Wow.
Yes, I was petrified, but in a sense, I was like, the police is escorting us. It's okay, you know.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. 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 So okay, so now the whole family is being escorted to the airport. The whole family or just who was
yeah, the whole family. So,
including your dad and all that?
yeah, so my dad, my mom, and us four, um, my eldest, second
Mm,
eldest, third, and me. Yeah, so all of us were being escorted. But when we got to Kingston,
mm.
we then to my dad had to he couldn't come on the plane. He was planning to go on the plane like maybe the next day or so,
Why?
and to tie up loose ends. Whatever he had to do, that's what I was told to tie up loose ends. And next thing I know, he's arrested. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, something happened for you to be arrested legally. So whether it's a thing of money, you may have misplaced people's money, but
Wow.
you're still held accountable, you know. So yeah.
Really?
And yeah, so we took off flying. My dad had to stay, and then I never got told till a bit later because I don't think my mom wanted us to like take on. It was a lot basically, but to know that your life from living in like a nice big house
Yeah.
to literally poof in a matter of moments.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So here you are. Oh my God. So here you are, you're in a plane now, you get to England, and then
So mom calls my aunt. She's like, yeah, we're here. We could have gone to America, but America and Jamaica is like,
yeah.
you know, not far from each other. So it wouldn't take too long for anything. So they were like, there's no point going to America to stay with family there because Jamaicans travel regularly between Jamaica and America. And
Mm,
we don't know if someone could be like, yo, take a plane, fly there, try find them, you know.
mm,
Yeah, so we flew to England. My mom called my aunt. Yeah, we're here. This is what happened. And at the time, my aunt had a small two-bedroom flat. So literally, all of us had to go and cramp up in one bedroom because, yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah,
And that was your start of your journey in England.
yeah, yeah. That was the start of
Wow.
my journey. And yeah.
So so then what? You had to get what? Find a school or what's going
Yeah,
on here now?
so when we came, it was literally we came, we I didn't go to school straight away because they're trying to figure out like all the visas and stuff like that because the visa was only I found out the visa was like only a 6 month visa
Mm,
and then it had to be renewed
mm,
um or to like seek asylum. But back then my mom didn't have a lot of information of how this migration stuff works basically. So yeah, we came for a few months. Um, Basically, I didn't start going to school until um, the September 11th stuff.
mm,
Um, yeah, so I started school, I think, towards end of September. They got us
mm.
into school. Don't know how they did it, but yeah, we just got into school.
So did
So
you sort of like miss a year or something?
no, just a couple months. So
Just a couple of
yes,
months.
because I was basically transitioning from year, if you in the UK terms, from year five to year six. So I came because yeah, I landed on my birthday as well. So this is why I remember so much. So the plane that I landed on was completed on my birthday. Because I remember
Wow.
the pilot plane, this plane was made in 1991, May 4th, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh snap. And I was thinking, yeah, they're gonna bring me to the cabin. Yeah, that didn't happen because
Wow.
obviously, yeah, my birthday. But they, yeah, so I came here May 4th, 2001. And from May to September,
Mm.
um, because before it was year five, so September would be going into year six.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how was that then? Boy from a private school, all of a sudden you're escorted out of Jamaica. Now you're in England. What's going on there? What's going on in your
Um,
mind?
in my mind, weirdly enough, I'm not gonna lie, excited because we used to visit England every year
Oh, okay,
before
so you
we
were familiar
moved.
with England.
Yeah, so I was familiar with England a bit, and I was always like, as much as Jamaica is amazing and lovely and stuff like that, we at my age I didn't really get to explore.
Mm.
You're gonna be at home. You go to a few parties and like events like that they're running for that can be for kids and stuff like that. But I never really got to really experience living in Jamaica. And because England was so much bigger, we're traveling here, there, and all these places. Yes, there's the cold, but I was just like, I think I'd rather live in England. I know that sounds
Wow.
crazy, but in my mind, I was like, it's like it was an adventure for me as a kid, you know. So I was just like, yeah, good riddance to Jamaica because I know, bad things happen everywhere. But like, even though we're in Jamaica, I mean, Montego Bay was good at that time in the 90s. It wasn't like how you heard about, I don't know if you heard about Kingston, how it's like, it can
Yeah.
be really, yeah. So Montego Bay was like very good. But every now and then you hear of like all these like gunshots popping off and stuff like that. And, you know, but nothing ever really happened in my neighborhood. But I was actually really happy to move to England.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you start your schooling here, and then yeah, tell me more about that then, the progression in school and you
yeah.
fitting in.
I went into year six,
Mm.
and I remember everyone was just like staring at me like, "Oh wow, there's this like freshy Jamaican," you know. And some of the kids would annoy me. I know they're doing it on purpose, but because I still had an accent, but I could speak proper English.
Mm.
Um, because I still had an accent, they'll be like, "Sorry, what did you say? Huh? Can't understand you. What?" I'm like, "I'm speaking English to you. You can
Mm.
understand exactly what I'm saying. Stop being silly."
Mm.
But mainly the main like apart from the few kids who did that, everyone was like totally accepting and like took
Mm.
me in because England was really like multicultural then anyway.
Yeah.
So there was like, you know, um Caribbean, African, um, Asian, all different cultures there. So it wasn't too bad adjusting. It was a little because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't the most academic. So it was a little like, when they put you in different sets of groups and stuff like that. When
Mm.
we were in Jamaica, it was one class per year in the private school that I went to. So it wasn't like a huge school. It was just like a condensed private school, one class per year. Where in England,
Mm.
you get maybe three classes per year group.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it was, and because I wasn't the most academic and stuff like that, they did things slightly different. I think they did things a bit better in Jamaica in terms of like different methods. Because maths was my worst subject. Like
Wow.
yeah, like bad. But they did help me. It did help me with methods, but the methods they use here is like the harder one to get to the answer. So I'm just like,
Right.
what? I
What's
don't
going
get
on here?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Rather than the, you know, what I found is that tutors actually give you the easier way to get to the answers.
Wow.
Um, because one of my friends, he invited me to study with him while his tutor was there. But I was like, nah, I did one session with them, but it really did help. I was like, oh, okay. But the curriculum
Hmm.
wants you to do it in this way. They don't want you to do it that way, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did during that time, then obviously you're struggling in school a bit. Did that impact you in any way when you're struggling with school, or it's just like whatever? Still
Yeah,
like an adventure to
it
you?
was kind of yeah, it was like an adventure for me because I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I've left Jamaica, especially I don't know if have you ever watched the film Shutters?
Shartans.
Shot. See, it's my English accent. Yeah, see, it's gone. So Shutters, like
Oh, shot. Oh, Shartans. No, I
yeah,
haven't. I've never.
yeah. So yeah, that I remember watching that film in Jamaica, and
Uh-huh.
boy, that put fear into me. And obviously, you don't really know much about the UK when your
Mm,
mind is very constrained and you're young. You're like, oh yeah, tea crumpets and nice things and blah 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 blah.
uh,
There's and because whenever we came up here, there's a nice huge park just by the flat, and everywhere just looked nice and clean and stuff like that. Not that Marbella wasn't, but the atmosphere was like completely different from
mm,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, when you're a kid, you don't really think about crime like that because you don't know the country.
mm.
But I did see, so I did hear loads of stuff in Jamaica, so I did just feel safer, maybe because of lack of knowledge of what England is like. I don't know.
So, did you hear from your dad during that time, or?
Yeah, every now and then my mom would call my dad, and I never really got to speak to him properly. Every time I spoke to him, I was like, "You all right? Yeah, 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 yeah. You doing good in school? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, pass me back to your mom."
Mm,
So that's one thing that did affect me in a way, but it's one of those things where anything that I had like issues with, I would just sweep it under the rug and not directly speak about it. But at the same time, I was like, my mom's going through a lot. She's doing everything to take care of us. I don't want to say, this is me thinking as a kid back then.
hmm.
I don't want to bring up anything to put any more
Any
pressure
more
than,
stress on her?
yeah, any more stress. Yeah. So, and even if you speak to her today, she'll tell you, yeah, they didn't like, yes, there's, boys growing up being untidy and stuff like that. But apart from that, I didn't give her stress and like, you're not catching me on the streets being some hood kid and doing all that stuff because we were brought up to be like
Respectful.
respectful and stuff like that. If you stepped out of line, the beats,
Beats
and
are
I got
coming real quick.
yeah, yeah. So we were disciplined, but not not like abuse.
Yeah, of course. Listen, I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
You don't even have to explain.
yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah. So that's basically um
Wow. Okay. So, did you ever reconcile in terms of like as a reconnect with your dad again? Did he? So what? So,
So unfortunately, in 2011, my father passed away.
oh,
Um, yeah, that was.
sorry to hear that, man.
It's cool, man. It's cool. No worries. Yeah, that was brutal. Um, so for me, because I never really got to build a relationship with my dad, even after all those years. So he was applying for a visa, and he wasn't able because of the criminal record of whatever it was. He that criminal record was blocking him getting a visa to come move to England. And I know my dad's like one of those go-getters. If he was able to come to England, life would have been he would have been a businessman over here for sure. Like in some kind of way, he would have picked himself up because we never lacked for anything. Even at times when he was like, oh, I can't afford to go out, I know he was like dealing with business stuff. I'm like, how
Mm.
can you not afford? Look at the house we're in, but you're a kid, you don't know what bills are and what's going on between all these things. So yeah, so he passed away. Um and uh
If you don't mind me asking, Dre, what was it? Just health or just?
I yeah, it was health. So he had diabetes.
Uh-huh.
Can't remember which type it was, but it was one of the ones where you really do need to like be careful with your sugars. You can't play with it. So, but I think what happened was it was more the stress that the stress that messed up everything else because
Away from his family,
we,
separated and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, because we literally lost. I don't. I still want to find out all the ins and out. And my mom's open, and I know it must be hard for her as well. Even till today, I'm 33 now. So recently, I've been just picking up my mom at different things that just help me to understand there's nothing to condemn you. Even if you guys did something bad
Mm.
and you didn't want to own up to it, I'm not going to be like, why did you,
Yeah.
like, I've never ever been like that to my mom. Like, why did you do this to us? Da, 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 da. I've never been that kid to challenge my parents and be disrespectful in a type of way. It's healthy to speak about things, but respectfully. So I've just recently been, speaking to my parents, like, so my mom, hey, so what happened here? And she's starting to tell things bit by bit. So I'm just giving her grace to, because
Wow.
I want to know, I want to know, it will help me to understand what's going on in my history. So sorry, I kind of went
No,
off.
no, please
What was the
go. I
yeah.
want to hear more of it. Yeah.
So my dad passed away. He wasn't able to come up, and I know it's all the stress. And we had he had properties in the making, blueprints, he had land and stuff like that. And we literally, I don't know how, like today I'm still thinking, what actually happened to a scale where we lose everything? We lost the house, my dad lost all the properties that was in the making of being built up. I remember he used to take me to the actual sites of the properties that were being made, and he would show me the blueprints and all that stuff. And to know that all of that is just poof, gone. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, what happened for everything to be lost? Because you can commit a crime, but you don't mean you lose everything. You know what I mean? So I don't know to what
Wow.
hefty scale, but yeah, that it took everything down. So yeah, my dad passed away, and yeah, it didn't hit me until like I think it didn't hit me like real till like a bit later because I remember I was in church and I was doing a one when he passed away, I was doing a 1 week fast, no food, just water, straight. And
And how old were you
apparently,
then?
I think I think I was like uh 18, 19 maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm bad with maths.
No, that's
Yeah,
fine. That's fine.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
So maybe yeah, 18, 19, I think. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so I was in a 1 week fast with church and literally I was there like I didn't know how to feel because I'm like I never really got to build a deep. I know my dad I knew my dad loved me and all that stuff, but like in terms of like having an actual talking relation, how son are you doing? Da, 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 just general talk type of
Mm.
relationship. It was just as I said, you're doing good in school, house school, you okay? Boom, that was it. End of. Then the rest of the time was my mom speaking to him, and that back then it was the whole, you buy the cards to get some minutes on the
Of
phone.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and not being able to have a job to fund all these things, and so you have to be careful with your time on the phone, and so literally never really got to build a relationship with my dad
Wow.
after that.
Wow.
Yeah. Um.
So,
Uh.
so your dad passes away. You're in church now. You're hearing this news. What I want to get back to in the second part of this video is how that impacted your family. All right, but that's going to be a part two. All right, so
Yeah.
pause right there, and then we're going to come back straight into it. Okay.
Cool. 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 Yeah.
All right.